most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schultz, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of
We're
course,
happy to
Bob.
announce. Today we're going to talk about things that happen to your body when you run too much. Boy, what is this about, Brad?
Well, Bob, this is something, we're both runners.
Right.
I love running. I've run one marathon. I've run a number of half marathons. I
Sure.
continue to love to run, but I know two avid marathon runners that I've known them for years. They both have cardiac problems. As a matter of fact, one.
Okay, before we go any further,
Oh,
Brad,
yes.
let's-
Okay.
If you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, if you get a chance, go to bobandbrad.com. Go to the giveaway section because this week we're giving away some of our wall anchors.
Ah, yes.
Which you can use with exercise bands. Great workout at home. You can also find it at Facebook. It'll be pinned at the top of the page. Go to Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok if you want a 60-second version of our program.
There you go,
So
Bob.
we left it off, Brad. You had two avid marathoners with cardiac symptoms.
Yeah, people I've known for years.
And what happened to them?
Well, the one gentleman, his goal was to run a marathon in every continent, and he's done many. His nickname is Boston Bobby. He's done to Boston
Bobby.
many years in a row.
He's going to be fine with you saying his name?
I didn't say his last name.
Oh.
Anyways, there could be a lot of those.
Sure.
But anyways, long story short, he's 65 now, and he can't run anymore. He walks. He's got atrial fib and I don't know all the details. It's a heart problem though.
Sure.
So he's had to change his lifestyle because of it. But he's okay. You know, he's adjusted and he's very happy.
Brad, I think this is a good video because I think a lot of people think this is how I feel a little bit. Gosh, running kind of solves everything. So like if I have a heart problem, like atrial fibrillation, if I run, it'll get better.
Right.
It's like, that's not necessarily true. Running might actually exacerbate the heart problem.
Right. But this is about distance running.
Right.
So,
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, they think I have a heart problem, so the more I run, the better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's going to make it better, and that's not true.
Not necessarily.
Right.
It could. But, just hold on because the second gentleman, all these people are just such fun people to be around. He is 52 years old. His and his wife's goal was to run a marathon in every state in the United States. And they did it. 50 states, 50 marathons.
Wow.
Plus they ran a bunch of other ones. But at 52 years old, this is extremely sad. He was out for a run and he died.
Wow.
Cardiac problems. But there's a little more to it that helps explain that. So overall, the good news is running, long distance running, not a large percentage of them. It's actually a small percent, less than 5% do come up with cardiac issues that can lead to problems and sometimes death.
5% is fairly significant.
I believe it's
Brad.
less than 5%.
Less than
I don't
5%.
have that number
Sure.
memorized, so it's not very much. However, if you have a history of cardiac problems, then you better watch out if you're a distance runner because that can come back. And at the Mayo, I've got some research from Mayo. There's a ton of research on this specific topic.
Well, I wonder, Brad, if you want to interrupt here.
I do mind,
don't-
but go ahead.
I remember years ago, and I don't remember his name, but it was kind of one of the men that founded the running. You remember this?
I remember
Yeah.
reading about it because his name did come up when I was doing research on
Right.
it, and I don't remember
He
it.
kind of he started the running craze, kind of,
Yeah.
and he ended up dying of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And everybody said, "See, you
Right.
shouldn't run that much," but he had cardiac problems.
And if you're a marathon runner, you're going to just ignore this, which is fine. And if you want to run a marathon and you're healthy, go for it. Go for it. But
you're saying that the typical marathon runner may ignore this because they have their personality type.
Absolutely.
So you shouldn't ignore this, is what you're saying.
Well, just keep it in mind that
Keep it in mind. Yeah.
just take this with a grain of salt, listen to it, and see what
But cardiac problems don't go away when you run.
they may not.
Yeah.
They have a chance of
Yeah.
making things worse with distance running. This is all I did research was distance running.
Sure.
So, example, Dr. If I pronounce this right, McCullough, Chief Cardiac Research at Baylor Institute, avid marathon runner. He ran 54 marathons. And then as he's learning more about distance running, he's quit running distance. In the quote, he is convinced of long runs, pounding the pavement, he mentioned,
Sure.
is not worth the risk to the heart.
See, and I've read this too, Brad. That and for what it's worth, is that marathons are really hard on your organs overall.
Yeah.
It's an extreme stress on them.
Right.
So you don't
And-
seem like you believe it.
Well, no, I do, but I would have kept running more marathons, but I had a joint problem with my knee, and then
Sure.
I went into other things, and it probably was
The best thing
I'm
ever.
okay. Well,
probably.
I don't know about that because we're going to have distance runners saying, "Poo-poo, these guys are full of crap," because that's their attitude. That's how they live, and
Right.
I can completely
You're
relate
of
to
that.
that. So if you're, if you know someone, this like again,
Do you
just
want-
remember these are facts.
Do you want to tell some of the Mayo issues that they came up
Oh,
with?
right, yeah. Before I was interrupted.
Yeah.
Anyways, the actual problems that they found, we got 4 of them here. There's a couple more. Patchy myocardial fibrosis, which I'm not sure what that is.
I've never seen that.
It's not good. Coronary artery calcification,
Sure.
which kind of surprised me. Diastolic dysfunction and atrial fib.
Right.
And
Now,
these are the things that they watch, and they found that distance running contributes to making these possibly worse.
Now, atrial fibrillation is very common, Brad.
Yeah.
Very common. So I think, if you're a long distance runner, you've got to make sure your heart is sound.
Sure.
And that you
If
aren't
you're
doing
having
it.
symptoms,
Yeah.
get in and get it checked out. The good news is, like I said, it's a small percentage.
And it's much worse. Mind if I jump in?
Yeah.
To be a couch potato.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Exactly.
I just still remember this, but I think I told you about this before. I saw a cartoon one time, and there's 2 big, stout, overweight guys, and they were watching runners go by, and the one says to the other, "Those guys are going to get heart attacks." So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's much better to
Run.
run
So-
and exercise
Right.
than to be.
So as we
a coach.
continue our babbling on, Bob,
Yeah,
they're
right.
wondering what is a good guideline. So there's actually
Sure.
some guidelines on distance running, and I think as you age, this is probably more important.
Sure.
I'm not sure about that. That's my personal guess. But according to the federal guidelines, moderate running, so not running real hard, for 150 minutes per week is recommended. So that's 5 days a week for 30 minutes
Yep.
a day. Which, if you're a marathon runner, you're not gonna be able to do it. You definitely got to run more than that. Or if you have vigorous exercise, they recommend 75 minutes per week. So maybe that gives you some guidelines, and obviously that's going to flex depending on your.
To be honest, as you grow older in life, you find out that moderation is everything. It's interesting. I knew a really good runner, Brad, and I saw him. This was a couple years back. He's 63 years old at the time. He was a top-notch runner. He was a college runner,
Sure.
the whole bit. And I could see he has some varus.
Yeah.
So he's bow-legged.
Bow-legged, yes.
And he's like, I know I'm gonna have to give up running at some point. I'm fine with it because he bikes too.
Sure.
But I don't want to right now. And I said, well, how much are you running a day? Well, it's when I run. I can run like 4 or 5 miles, fine. But when I run hard 7 miles, and I start to feel my knee, I go, stop doing 7 miles hard. I mean,
listen to your body.
Yeah, listen to your body. I mean, you
Yeah.
could probably run for maybe 10 more years if you don't run 7 miles hard. Just run,
But Bob, this is about heart.
I know, but it's still it fits the same thing. It's going going too far.
Yeah.
You
Right.
don't have to.
Right. So
So
as far as the heart goes, listen to your heart. If you got chest pains when you're running, you've got to get to the
Yeah.
hospital. You got to get that checked out, right away. So
yeah, I'll tell another story, Brad. This one fits. This one fits.
okay,
I promise.
you can
All right.
tune out, but this might be
So
entertaining.
I just turned 60 years old. I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
neighbor who just happens to be like within days of me. He turned
Okay,
60.
Yeah.
So I hadn't seen him running for quite a while.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I saw him. This was like last year. I saw him and he's walking. I'm going, what's going on? And he goes, I got a real kick in the teeth. He started having heart issues.
Yeah.
And he went in and he had to have a stent. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and he was like running was getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
I was breathing really hard and
Yeah.
thin guy, looks healthy,
Yeah.
the whole bit. So it can happen, especially if you have the history of it.
Right.
It's hard to beat genetics.
Right.
So
Right. So again,
you
stay
like my story?
active. Stay active, but
I
just
thought that was a
be
good
healthy.
story.
It was a good story, Bob. But I feel like we're promoting exercise, and we got a video on not to run.
No, I think you got to be, you got to always listen to your body.
Be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Train properly. Train
so
smart.
having said that, do we dare say this? We can fix just about anything.
Except for
A broken heart.
yeah.
But we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on our stories too.